Thanks for stopping by. This is the Myrita Minutes. I'm only going to be here for a few minutes. I don't have long, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that pastor or minister or bishop. I don't know what he is, Marvin Winans. And if y'all haven't seen it, heard the video, a woman steps up to the front of the church, heart filled, voice trembling, saying she's giving in faith 1,000 plus $235, standing in unity with the church's vision. You know, before the congregation can even say amen, the pastor hit her with, that's only $1,200. Excuse me, sir. Not thank you, not God bless you, but you're short. Now, I get that some churches have goals, budgets, projects, that's fine, right? But when you start correcting people's tithing like a balance sheet, we've officially lost the message, in my opinion. Because tithing is supposed to be about faith, not a financial flexing, right? Woman pretty much gave what she had, and it seemed like she was sincere about it. But always was told that's the type of seed that grows, right? Not the ones that are given under pressure. So if the blessing depends on exact math, then somebody might be serving spreadsheets and not salvation. I mean, she came in faith. He came with a calculator. This almost put me in the mind frame of, remember Marvin Sapp? Close the doors, close the doors.
This is simple. 1,000 people giving what I'm about to challenge will be $20,000. 1,000 people giving what I'm about to challenge you all to do will be $20,000. Now, for those of us who are on the dais, I'm taking you higher, so put it back. I'm a strong believer that leaders lead not only in time, not only in talent, but also in treasure. Leaders lead.
We've clearly lost the message here. We've clearly lost the message. You tithe and you give what's in your heart and what you have. In today's times, people don't have it like that. Prices are going up, but salaries aren't. People have mouths to feed. So you rather take money out of your congregation's pockets, but when they get thrown out on the street, what is the church going to do for them? It's not going to find them a shelter or a home. When they're hungry and stomachs is growling, the church that I go to don't have no soup line. I'm sure there's some somewhere, but my church don't have no soup line on a regular basis. Like, I don't understand these pastors. Now, he's not the only one. These two are not the only ones. I'll never forget. And I might have told this story before. I went to a mega church at one time. At one time he was feeding me, you know what I mean? As far as I was getting the word from him. It lasted about a year, maybe two. But I'll never forget, there was visiting pastors from other mega churches, and they all came together to do this ceremony. And I'll never forget, he got up there, the visiting pastor got up there, and he was like, anybody? And this was like almost 20 years ago, maybe a little less time, maybe 15, 20 years ago. But I mean, that's how long they've been doing this. But back then they were asking for, anybody got $50? Now this is 15, 20 years ago. Anybody got $50? Everybody stood up if you got $50. Come bring it down to the front. Those that came down to the front, put in their $50. Those that got $75, come on down to the front. Come on down to the front, $75. People stood up, went down to the front. He stood up again. He said, oh, I know somebody in here, somebody got $100. Come on, anybody in here got $100? But everybody was like, looking around like, really? And the church was pretty much packed. It was pretty much packed. Nobody stood up. So finally, the pastor of the church basically said, we don't do that here. He saw the faces of his people in that congregation, and he knew they wasn't feeling it. And it was coming from him. He might have, I think if he had got up there and said it, it may have been a better response. But this was a visiting pastor talking about he knows what people got and this and that, and they need to come down and tithe $100 or more or whatever. And they were not feeling that. And when I hear stuff like this, now clearly that was, like I said, 15, 20 years ago. Now they ask for thousands of dollars. $1,000? I mean, I know people's wages have gone up a little bit in 20 years, but still, you asking people to give you $1,000? One fell swoop. Now, mind you, these people might have been tithing all month. Like my grandmother used to tithe every Sunday. Right? She used to have her envelopes ready or whatever. Every Sunday she have her, a little bit of money that she was going to put in there, whatever. And then, now some people may tithe $1,000 a month. Maybe they do that. Maybe they do $250 a week. I don't know. I mean, that's not a far stretch. But if people have already tithed or did their tithing for that week or for that month, you can't come and ask them to give them $1,000. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what people tithe in. I don't go to church like that on a regular, but when I do go, I give a nice offering. It ain't $250, but I give a nice offering because I don't go that often. You know what I'm saying? And then we have ways of sending our offering in online, even if we don't go. So, I'll send something, here and there. So, but I'm not a consistent. I'm not consistent in my tithing, and I do need to get better. But I ain't gonna break myself. I mean, the Lord understands what I gotta do. You know what I mean? I give him his portion, and he blesses me with the rest of what I gotta do. I understand the concept. I do. But this right here seems like a hustle. Check this out.
I, Roberta McCoy, give in faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of
And she said, it's the vision of perfecting church. Okay.
$1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Isn't that crazy? She got her grandson up there with her. She's giving that over freely to him. Listen to this man.
That's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well,
she said, I'm gonna work on the other 800 instead of saying, God bless you, sister, thank you, whatever. This is what he said. A pastor, a minister, whatever he is.
That ain't what I asked you to do.
That is horrible. That is horrible. But it reminded me of Marvin Sapp. And he was like, close the doors, close the doors.
There's 1,000 of you. I said, close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight.
I don't know what these pastors are into. I don't know why they feel like it's a hustle. It makes it more. It ain't about salvation anymore. It ain't about blessing your congregation. It ain't about being a blessing or praying for the people. It's a hustle. And don't let it be their anniversary. You would think they were the king of the church. I never forget, same church that I went to back in the day, the mega church, it was his anniversary. And they stood up so many times, like they were praising and worshiping him. I was like, wait a minute now, hold on. I did see that. I was like, y'all getting up like he's the Almighty. Like he came down. Now, granted, you happy that you celebrating his anniversary, and that's great. But come on now. If we had stood up one more time, I was like, look, this is crazy. How many times we gonna stand up and applaud and give him the praise? But he is a human, just like the rest of us. Couldn't get over that. But some churches, this also mimics like a cult-like behavior. That's why some people, they argue me down about belonging to a church, because they said churches are nothing but cults. Yeah, when you put it like that, yes, I would say this was cult-ish, cult-ish behavior. And you can only belong if you pay your way. It's awful, but that's just the way, not all churches, but most of the mega churches do. And this man belongs to a prominent, well-known family. The Winans, they have millions already. Now, whether he's a part of that singing group, I don't know, but his family has millions. There's artists, there's songsters, they're singers, they're actors. They do it all. And you asking for $1,000, $2,000 from each person in that congregation? Then he goes on, and I don't see that part on here. He starts reading from a sheet of paper, like all the names that have donated online. And he starts writing them out. $1,000 from this person, $1,000 from this person, $1,000 from this person. As if to say, your name, don't get read out unless you gave me $1,000. Now you're going to separate the people that can give $1,000 from the people who can't. Why? Why would you do that in church? No. I'm not in favor of it. I'm not a fan, and I don't like it. And I'm calling him out on it. Where is Charlemagne? Donkey of the day goes to Marvin Winans. Hello. Y'all, let's get in the comments, talk about this. This is crazy. Please like, share, and subscribe. Everyone, have a blessed day. Peace.